Hello, Army. Welcome back to BTS on 7. Today, we're diving into something special, a moment that captured Jimin exactly as he is when the cameras aren't chasing perfection, when it's just him, his team, and the quiet hum of a stadium before it comes alive. This is the story of Jimin's Day 2 soundcheck in Baltimore, Maryland, part of his world tour Arirang, and honestly, it might be one of the most refreshing glimpses of him we've gotten in a long time. Let's set the scene properly. Baltimore, a city gearing up to host thousands of fans. But hours before doors even open, the venue belongs to a different energy entirely. Techs testing sound levels, empty bleacher seats catching the afternoon light, and somewhere in the middle of all that preparation, Jimin walking out to do what soundcheck is supposed to do. Make sure every note, every breath, every word lands exactly right once the real show begins. But what unfolded was so much more than testing microphones. The first thing that stood out was his hair. Long, soft, sun-kissed strands falling past his shoulders, catching every bit of light around him. It's grown out into this effortless, almost windswept look, the kind of hairstyle that makes every single photo feel cinematic without even trying. Fans immediately started commenting on how naturally it framed his face, how it moved with him as he walked, laughed, and turned toward the crowd of staff and dancers around him. And then there was that laugh. Not a polished camera-ready smile, but a full, eyes crinkled, head tilted back kind of laugh. Something clearly caught him off guard. Maybe a joke from someone backstage, maybe a moment during rehearsal that just hit different. Whatever it was, it turned into one of those candid snapshots Army treasures most, the ones where you can practically feel the warmth radiating off the screen. His whole face lit up, and for a few seconds, you forget he's one of the most recognized performers on the planet. He just looks like a guy having a genuinely good time with people he trusts. Now let's talk about the outfit, because this is where things get interesting. Jimin stepped out in a soft, oversized crew neck sweatshirt in a muted, off-white tone, the kind of relaxed fit that says comfort first, performance second. But it was the pants that really caught everyone's attention. Loose-fitting tan cargo-style trousers, complete with deliberately placed distressed cuts at the knees, giving them that lived-in, high-fashion utilitarian edge. Sharp-eyed fans quickly recognized the silhouette and detailing as pieces from Dior's collection, a brand Jimin has worn before and clearly has an eye for. The combination of a plain, breathable top with structured, statement-making bottoms is very much his signature during this era. Understated on top, intentional and elevated below. What made the outfit even more charming wasn't just the fashion itself, but how he moved in it. At one point, caught mid-conversation, he casually lifted the hem of his sweatshirt while holding onto his microphone, adjusting himself in that unbothered, backstage kind of way that only happens when someone feels completely at ease in their environment. It's such a small human gesture, but it says a lot. This wasn't a moment crafted for cameras. It was simply him existing, comfortable, present, unfiltered. Throughout the soundcheck, his expressions shifted constantly, and every single one told a different story. One moment he's grinning so wide his eyes practically vanish, clearly enjoying a lighthearted exchange with someone off to the side. In another, his brows furrow in that classic, focused, slightly playful scowl fans have nicknamed his grumpy cat face, the exaggerated frown that somehow still manages to look adorable rather than intimidating. It's become one of his most beloved expressions precisely because it flips between intensity and softness so effortlessly. One second he looks like he's deep in concentration testing a vocal run. The next he's back to smiling like nothing serious happened at all. There's something about watching an artist during soundcheck that feels different from watching them perform. During the actual concert, everything is choreographed, timed, amplified by lighting and staging and the collective energy of tens of thousands of fans. But soundcheck strips all that away. It's raw. It's just the artist, their instrument, which in Jimin's case is his voice and his presence, and the small circle of people who make the show possible. And in that stripped-down setting, his personality comes through even louder than his singing does. Fans watching these glimpses couldn't stop talking about how home he looked on that empty stage. Comments flooded in about how his energy translates even without an audience, how his instinct for movement, for connecting, for making even mundane rehearsal moments feel alive is just part of who he is as a performer. Many ARMY pointed out that this kind of candid content, unscripted, unpolished, means more than any perfectly produced music video moment, because it reminds everyone that behind the global stardom is still someone who laughs a little too hard at a joke, who fusses with his sweatshirt, who gets that focused crinkle in his forehead when he's chasing the right note. There's something also worth mentioning about the emotional undertone of Baltimore specifically. Being on day 2 of a tour stop means the initial nerves of night 1 have settled, replaced by a rhythm, a comfort with the set list, the choreography, the crew around him. Some fans online have speculated that this ease is exactly why we got such an unguarded, playful side of him this time around, though of course that's simply an observation from those watching closely, rather than anything confirmed. What we do know is that the atmosphere around him felt lighter, warmer, like a team that has found its groove together. It's also worth appreciating the artistry hidden inside something as simple as a soundcheck outfit choice. Jimin has never treated fashion as an afterthought, even in moments meant purely for rehearsal. Choosing a designer piece with intentional distressing, pairing it with something soft and neutral on top, speaks to an eye for detail that extends far beyond the stage. It's part of why so many fans and even fashion critics keep circling back to his off-duty and rehearsal looks as some of his most authentic style statements, pieces chosen for how they feel and move, not just how they photograph. As the tour continues to roll through city after city, moments like this Baltimore soundcheck serve as a reminder of just how much dedication goes into every single show. Long before the lights come up and the crowd starts screaming his name, there's hours of preparation, laughter shared with a team that clearly adores him, and small, quiet instances of him just being himself. Those instances, fleeting as they are, end up becoming some of the most cherished pieces of content ARMY holds onto, precisely because they feel real. So here's what we know. Jimin walked into an empty Baltimore stadium ahead of his Arirang World Tour stop, hair loose and glowing, dressed in an effortlessly stylish Dior-inspired look, and somewhere between vocal checks and casual conversation, gave fans a string of moments so genuine they instantly became treasured. A wide, uninhibited laugh, a playful scowl, a casual adjustment of his sweatshirt mid-sentence. Small things, sure, but small things that stitched together paint a picture of an artist who remains grounded no matter how big the stage gets. That's the story from Baltimore ARMY, a quiet, candid window into Jimin's world just hours before thousands of fans filled those empty seats with cheers. If moments like this mean as much to you as they do to us, don't forget to like this video and drop a comment letting us know your favorite part of today's story. Make sure you're subscribed to BTS on 7 and have your notifications turned on because we've always got more Jimin updates coming your way. Thank you so much for watching, ARMY. Until next time.